Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to yet another Track Titan community race stream. Season 3, round 12, the penultimate round of this season, and well, we're set for an exciting day of racing. Here we are in Belgium at Circuit Zolder in the Lotus Evora GTE Carbons. These are some fantastic custom-made, well, race cars, if you will, even though we're in the street category. Circuit Zolder in Belgium for just over 4 kilometers of track, 10 corners here, a couple nice fast flow chicanes, some of the drivers going through the first one on the circuit now before they go up this long sweeping left hand. It's a great part of the circuit. This should be an exciting one for all the drivers to race around. Joining me in the commentary box, as usual, it's Mr. Spitslam. How are you today, mate?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great to have Spitslam back, always. Well, like I said, Belgium plays host to this penultimate round of the championship, and we've got some decent championship battles going on up and down the grid. Lots of drivers on joint points, lots of drivers very closely split. 3 drivers actually joint on points. Let's take a look at the championship standings, and this will give you a bit of an idea. So we're calculating this by the best 20. Of course, drivers can drop 3 rounds, so 6 races in total. So the best 20 from each driver is calculated here, but this doesn't take into account what could happen tonight, what could happen on the next round. So the actual gap at the top is not quite as far away as it seems. Of course, it looks right now like the gap at the top is 39 points. However, that's not necessarily true, because if we take a look at what the maximum possible points these drivers could get still, Ryan actually leads max lead 7. Ryan could potentially, given 2 wins tonight, 2 fastest laps, and 2 wins and 2 fastest laps tomorrow. No, sorry, next week. He could get 418 points. Max Newt 7 could only get 405. This is because Max had some worse rounds earlier on. So with the drop scores, the maths are going to be very interesting. We're going to have to break out the abacuses, and see what kind of permutations they have. Further below them, Alexander Gray is leading Dennis Bosman and Michelle Rodriguez in their battle for 4th position. But Dennis is out today, and Alexander Gray's going to have to fend him off. Those are 2 drivers that have been locked at the horns all season. And Michelle is also back, a little bit further back than Dennis now because of his few absences. But we know what kind of a driver Michelle is. He will surely put down the gauntlet and give them a challenge. And then there we go, the 3 drivers on 88 points. As I said, there's 3 drivers locked at the same points, 7th, 8th and 9th. Still very much up to be decided between Smells Like We, Hugh Jass and Keith Holt. However, Smells Like We isn't here tonight, nor is Hugh Jass. So Keith looks to be the man to stand to gain. That is, if he can get into points. And it's going to be harder for him to not get into points, considering there's only 11 drivers out on track. So it looks like Keith Holt's going to be moving up the leaderboard tonight. And hopefully he has a good race and capitalises on the absences of those around him. Well, that's the qualifying preface. That's the championship as it stands here at Zolder. Lots of exciting things to come. Spitslam, have you, well, you say you've been here in real life before.
Yes, I've been.
Good track? What's it like?
A great track. It's not really up to standards to host an F1 race, but it's a great track if you want to go there for, I don't know, a Euro NASCAR or the European Track Championship.
Yeah, it's more of a GT level track, I think, isn't it? Which kind of suits these cars, right?
Oh, definitely it is. With the lot of chicanes and the tight turns.
Exactly.
That some of there are, it's perfect for GT.
It's going to create some great racing, isn't it? I think an open wheeler car might struggle a little bit more at this circuit, because some chicanes are, well, they are prone to taking away front wings, aren't they? But no front wings here, so a little bit of damage isn't going to affect them as much, I guess.
Well, yeah, some of these, like Ryan just went through. I don't know if you're on Ryan. That chicane would cost a lot of front wings for an F1 team.
Oh, it certainly would. It certainly would. I was watching Ryan going through the chicane there. That's that Villeneuve chicane there, isn't it? Yes. I'll try and get my names down right. For once, we've got some interesting names as well, of course, because it's a foreign circuit. So I will butcher some pronunciations, I'm sure. Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, on the note of the track, and with just under 5 minutes of qualifying remaining, we're going to jump on board to Ryan Skywalker and see what he can provide in a nice hot lap of this Belgian circuit. So here he is, coming onto the start, finishing straight, foot flat to the floor, banging through the gears, up to the top gear before he starts braking for the first corner. That's Erste. It's a long, sweeping left-hander. If any of you have driven this before, you know how tricky this one is, just to get exactly right. It's one of them corners, there's a few lines you can take, but to get it perfect, it's quite a challenge. Anyway, coming through Sterrenwacht here and in towards Canal Corner. It's kind of a double apex right-hander here as he comes around. It's a very long, keep feeding in the throttle as you go around the corner, getting those both apexes and then braking once again before Lucien Bianchi corner here. And you want to run all the way wide there, use all the exit curb that you possibly can to carry all the speed onto this short straight before the Kleiner chicane, underneath the track titan branding and braking deep behind Michel Rodriguez here. Ryan Skywalker making the most of the slipstream. Michel getting all over the chicane there, taking a bit too much curb, I think. Ryan probably taking a slightly better line through the chicane there, just touching those inside curbs. Long left-hander that I mentioned before. This is Butt corner, and then into the Villeneuve chicane. This would definitely eat front wings for days if it was an open wheeler, but it's not. We're in GT cars, and we can go through the Villeneuve chicane safely in towards Terleman corner, and then it's another powered down curve. Foot flat to the floor once again as we power to this kind of top end of the circuit. It's Boulderberg corner, braking deep. It's almost a hairpin actually, and you want to kind of carry a bit of speed out of it, but you don't have to worry about getting that that early apex, because you've got to go through the Jockenrind corner there and then brake in for the final chicane here. It's the Jackie X corner. Jackie X, excuse me. Sounded a bit Swedish there. But it's a very wide chicane, this one. Not one of them that's like a Monza chicane. It's like two independent corners, but it's still very chicane-like. Anyway, powering down the final straight once again, and that's a lap of Zolder, and Ryan, with that fast lap, puts himself on pole position. Just about 6/10 clear of Michel Rodriguez ahead of him. That's a serious lap, wasn't it?
Well, definitely it is, with having slipstream from Michel as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's 100% a good point. That probably helped him out there. Probably gained him a few extra miles an hour down the straight, especially as Michel was kind of messing up into a few of them corners there. So, yeah, Ryan didn't gain a whole lot on him, but it allowed him to still take advantage of that slipstream. Do you reckon that's I'd say that's a coordinated thing actually, but it's definitely not, because in the Discord channel before the race, as all the drivers do kind of gather in there, Michel bumps into Ryan and goes off. Yeah, Michel was just complaining that he couldn't hear anyone and it was constantly lagging, and it was quite funny. So that's definitely not something that's been organised, because Michel can't organise anything right now.
With his perfect SpongeBob livery, of course, made by our only Ryan Skywalker.
Of course, he gets his own special livery because he's such a traitor. He gets given these special liveries.
It's always the yellow.
It is actually. He's had 3 yellow skins now from Ryan. Ryan works hard to make these skins.
There will be a 4th.
Especially to take the nick out of Michel. Well, as he's lapping the circuit, Michel's still sat in second position because Henry Comsey and Max 67 haven't been able to put down a fast enough lap to beat either him or Ryan Skywalker yet. And they're the kind of people that we're looking at to take this pole position away from Ryan, as, well, they're his main championship rivals and the two that have been on the pace the most throughout this season. But so far, not going to plan for them. Whereabouts are they on the circuit? Let's take a look at Henry Comsey right now. He's just at the top of the circuit here, coming through Terleman corner, and he's powering around the final part of his lap. What kind of lap is he on? Not a fast one by the looks of it. He's quite fast in the middle sector there, a little bit faster than Ryan Skywalker, but definitely not. He's losing time on his best lap time, so a lot of drivers struggling, I think, to get these lap times down. Maybe that slipstream played a little more into Ryan's lap than I actually thought, Spitzlin.
Well, it's a street car. It's not really designed to have a lot of slipstream, but yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. This is where I thought it might have given him maybe a 10th or something, but no one is able to even match his time. He really has laid down the gauntlets, Ryan Skywalker, there, with an absolutely blistering lap in the 141s there, which is a fantastic form from him, and that's exactly what he needs to do if he wants to regain this championship. Of course, Max has got a commanding lead up at the head of it, but like I said before, if drop scores swing his way, he could clinch this championship at the very last. The checkered flag falls, and the last few drivers, well, the drivers are going to finish their last laps here. Arthur Julio comes across the line. He sets his best lap time, but it's not valid. He struggled to stay on the track throughout qualifying. And so the drivers are going to start to come across the line to their final laps. Ryan Scalca here on a flying lap, but not looking to be faster. Michelle Rodriguez, also on a flying lap, has set a purple middle sector. Ryan Scalca comes into the pits. Michelle Rodriguez, here he is. He's on his flying lap. He's set a purple middle sector and a fairly decent first sector. We'll see if he can take pole position away from Ryan Scalca. Coming through the final few corners here onto the start-finish straight. Michelle Rodriguez is going to set a lap time of a 1:42.173. He improves in his lap time, but not enough to take that pole position away, but he's closed up that gap, and he said to Ryan, I'm going to be on your tail. And that does increase the gap between himself and Henry Comsey and Max Newt 7, who surprisingly did not set a faster lap time. So they're just content with their lap time. Dennis Bosman also crossing the line. Oh, sorry, coming to the pits. Unable to set a faster lap time. And so that concludes the qualifying session. Ryan Skywalker on pole, Michelle Rodriguez on second position, and it's Henry Comsey and Max Newt 7 on the second row of the grid. This should be an interesting one. We've got a decent grid of 11 cars, and what's happened?
Ryan gone.
Oh, dear me. Disaster once again for Ryan. Fortunately, we've extended the
join period.
We've extended the join period, so he should have time to rejoin. He's got 2 minutes to rejoin. So we'll be able to rejoin and slot back into his grid slot, which is already assigned for him. Just looking back from Michelle Rodriguez's car here at Max Newt 7 behind him. Max Newt 7, he wasn't able to set a fast lap time in that qualifying, but we know how good he is at racing. Do you think he's going to be able to get past Michelle Rodriguez by this first corner, Spitzlam?
It might happen. Henry has the inside line, so...
Henry does indeed. Henry's going to be starting right behind Ryan Skywalker. Ryan, in the last few weeks, hasn't been the best at starting the races, so we'll see if he can turn around his form and get a bit better at it, if you will. But as it stands, Henry Comsey looking at a nice blank spot of track ahead of him before Ryan Skywalker loads into the server. I'm sure he'll load in any minute now.
Fun fact, when we are waiting, if you look at Michelle's point of view for... I think you can look third person or anything. You'll see I have the Belgian flag equipped for fun. And here, Ryan is back.
You have the Belgian flag equipped? Personally.
Yes, I do.
Of course, of course.
Even though I'm not Belgian, but fine.
Taking a nice little spin around.
Henry, stop honking. God, it's annoying.
Honking his horn on the start grid. He's getting hyped up for it in the Cosworth livery. And then Max Newt 7 is going to be starting in this bright blue and orange Gulf livery. They're going to be your main drivers to look out for. So just keep an eye out for those liveries. Spitzlam, there's 30 seconds to go till the green light. Till the lights go out, excuse me. And it's that time again. Who's going to be in the lead by the first corner?
Michelle.
Michelle.
It will somehow be Michelle.
Michelle.
He's on the outside.
Yep.
He just has to get a better start, move to the inside, and he's in. And it's Diego joining us.
Yeah, Diego joining us late on, so he should be joining the race from the back. 6 red lights go on underneath the windmills of Belgium. Ryan Skywalker starting from pole position. Can he convert that into a lead by the first corner? Looks like he can. That's a decent start from Ryan Skywalker, and that's a fantastic start from Max Newt 7, who's already up and alongside Michelle Rodriguez into the first corner, but he's going to have to stamp on the brakes a little bit earlier, and Henry Comsey is going to slide down the inside. And now Alexander Gray is getting involved. Keith Holt and Arthur Julio are around on the first corner, and Max Newt 7 and Henry Comsey are going side by side in towards the second corner here, round the long sweeping left-hander here of the first complex here at Zolder. Max Newt 7 holding that inside line, but Alexander Gray is getting involved. He's alongside Henry Comsey here. Is he going to try and make a move up the inside of Max Newt 7 for third? He's not, but he's going to settle for fourth, and that's a fantastic move from the Swedish meatball to get up alongside and ahead of Henry Comsey before even the first chicane. Alexander Gray now, though, defending from Henry Comsey as Henry Comsey looks to the inside of the first chicane here, down the inside of 2 of them. Oh, and he's crashed into his fellow countryman. Him and Max Newt 7 go into the gravel on the exit of the first chicane, and disaster for the pair of them. Henry Comsey just way too eager there coming in towards the Kleiner chicane, and that leaves Michelle Rodriguez and Ryan Skywalker with a lot less sweat on their foreheads because they've got 2 less encroaching fins behind them, and now they can battle it out for the lead. But don't discount Alexander Gray. He's a fast driver, and he's been on the beat this entire qualifying and race session after that fantastic start. But for now, Ryan Skywalker leads this race as they come round onto the back straight through the Jochen Ring chicane. Red Scalker leads the race, Michelle Rodriguez in second position, Alexander Gray in third, and then it's Little Skill in fourth ahead of Dennis Bosman and Alex Heller in sixth. That was a decent first lap. Did you see that incident there, Spitzon? What do you make of that?
It's... Which one do you mean? First corner
Henry
or...
actually, that's a good point. There was a first corner incident. Did you see what happened?
It's... Someone spun Keith and then just... Arthur just went into him a little bit. It wasn't his fault. He didn't see him. Max going slow. Definitely a damaged front for Max Snoot.
Yeah, he was. He was bumped into, wasn't he? I don't know if that's as a result of the. Oh, Alex Heller dropping down the order. No, that's just a timing bump.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, did you see? Yeah, so Keith got spun round, and then did you see the incident between Henry Comsey and Max Snoot 7?
Oh yeah, I did. It's just a dive bomb.
Just a
That's
dive
the
bomb.
best definition.
Yep, plain and simple. That's Arthur Julio in the gravel on the exit of Sternwalk there. Shame for the Brazilian driver on his Track Titan debut. Excuse me if I'm peeking there. Getting used to some new audio equipment. Up at the front of the pack, the lead gap is under a second, and it's not got any bigger than a second. Max Snoot 7 making moves. Diogo Teixeira also making a move, and Alexander Heller as they come in towards the Villeneuve chicane. And Keith Holt dropping down his 10th position behind Max Snoot 7. Whoa.
Isn't there something wrong with Alex? Alex is almost like blown over in the first. I think Alex's engine died. No, he didn't. Why was he going slowly? We won't know. He just decided to go slowly. We will never know why. That's great.
Trying to get an onboard view of Alex Heller there, but he just maybe had a bit of a hardware problem. Maybe his wheel came disconnected or something like that. Never know. Oh well, he's back on the circuit. Dropped down one position behind Henry Comsey there due to that issue. And now Max Snoot 7 is right up behind him, looking to capitalise on a move. Something's happened to Michelle Rodriguez. Something must have happened to Michelle Rodriguez, because he was right up behind Ryan Skywalker, and now he's 5.5 seconds behind, and he's well within the reach of Alexander Gray. Oh, and he's going to slap oversteer on as they come through Erster. He gets all over the grass, and Little Skittle and Alexander Gray are well and truly right up his backside right now. Coming through Sternwalk and through Canal Corner, Michelle Rodriguez is going to have to string these corners together and run away from Alexander Gray as fast as he possibly can, because Alex is well within sending range, or potentially not, as Henry Comsey might have found out. Max Snoot 7 has moved past Alex Heller further back, but we're going to keep an eye on this battle for second position, as it's a three-way battle, including Little Skittle. But Michelle Rodriguez, wow, he's gained about a second in two corners. What's happened to Dennis Bosman?
Bosman overtaking Little Skill, coming into the chicane. It's not even last of the late breakers, just a great exit out of I don't know the names. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, out of the Lucien Bianchi corner. Yeah, good exit out of the corner just before the Kleiner chicane. Breaking deep, getting past Little Skittle, and that's exactly how you do it, Henry Comsey. Little Skittle, a little bit too deep on the brakes there, coming into the Villeneuve chicane. Bumps into the back of Dennis Bosman, but fortunately for him, neither of them go out, and they can carry on the merry way. Dennis Bosman up into fourth position and hunting down his championship rival, Alexander Gray, who's dropping like a ton of bricks behind Michelle Rodriguez. He just doesn't have the pace on Michelle.
I don't think he does. And Little Skill still keeps getting faster and faster. I think the slipstream is... Oh, it's Keith in the grass at the Villeneuve chicane. The Little Skill, I think the slipstream might be an actual thing with the road cars.
I think it might be. Yeah, I think the slipstream is playing quite a big part in this race, as these drivers finding that they're able to catch up to the drivers ahead of them quite quickly. Alexander Gray, who had just discounted and said he was out of the race between himself and Michelle Rodriguez, is now within a second of him. And it's a nice four-way battle here for a second. Oh, Michelle Rodriguez has gone off. Michelle Rodriguez once again with a slap of oversteer. He was complaining about this all through qualifying, struggling with this car's setup. He's had a slap of oversteer as they come through Erster. He's gone well into the gravel and he's rejoined the circuit in sixth position. And that's an absolutely devastating moment for the Swedish driver there, who started on second position, is now dropping down the order, and not far behind him is Henry Comsey, the fast Finnish driver.
It's still a great thing for Ryan. Ryan first fastest lap, 9 seconds ahead of Alex.
Exactly.
He can afford to make small mistakes.
He can. And what Ryan needs to focus on now that he's got this significant lead is getting that fastest lap, because Ryan needs to get the most points he possibly can to close that championship gap up at the top, especially now that Max Snoot 7 is in 8th position and very far adrift of any decent points in this race. We know Max could cut through the pack here. He could overtake a lot of people, but he's not going to take on a ton of points here, is he?
It's Max. Do you remember last season?
Yeah.
He slowed down before the finish and just went for it.
Yeah. That hopefully we won't have that one going
If he
again.
does
I'm
that
sure we'll
again,
have...
he is disqualified.
Well, yes, we do
Just
have...
for
we
all
do
of you
have,
to know.
We do have martial reviews after the race, so if he does that again, that's something that comes under review, and he'll be punished appropriately. So
A DSQ.
Yeah, he won't do it again, essentially. But I mean, we're not in the penultimate round yet. It would be silly for Max to do that. I think all Max needs to do right now is get his head down and try and get the most points possible out of this race, and just minimise the damage, because Ryan is streaming away at the head of the pack, setting fastest lap after fastest lap. He currently has the best lap on the track at 1:42.498, and that is faster than anyone else by over a second. The next person who could even challenge that is Max 7 with a 1:43.683. So if Max can steal 1 point away from Ryan Skywalker, it might be a crucial point, but yeah, that's all Max can do for now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, definitely the drop rounds will make an impact.
They certainly will. They're going to make or break this championship, I think, coming into the final round. Sorry, next week, of course. Tune in for that this time next week. The final round of the season. It should be exciting. The drivers just circulating now, aren't they? They're not too much chaos going on quite yet. I think these battles are going to start to form. They're going to start to get a little bit closer and a little bit further away from each other as the race goes on, but we've got just under 7 minutes remaining, and Little Skittles keeping Dennis Bosman honest. Michelle Rodriguez on a recovery charge coming through the Villeneuve chicane now. He's going to look to make a move with Diogo Teixeira in the next few corners, and that's potentially something that's very soon going to be on the cards, because we know that Michelle Rodriguez has the pace. Well,
He definitely has the pace with this track being an ACC, of course, and
yes.
this being basically, and we say it's a street car, but it's a GT car. Let's be real.
This is like a street car in the same way that a Porsche 911 GT3 RS is a street car, in that no one actually wants to drive it around the street. It's a track car, but you could put a license plate on one of these bad boys and take it down to the shops. Although I'm sure you'd spend more money on fuel than you ever would in the shop.
I'm not sure if Michelle, if it's good to be found Diego Teixeira into gravel.
What?
And that's what you get for being in grass, and that's Michelle.
What has just happened?
They gone into the grass at the final turn, and I think because they were maybe out of the track, it just put them into the pits.
That's potentially an interesting issue with the circuit, but that's Diogo Teixeira and Michelle Rodriguez straight into the pits, and Michelle Rodriguez with a straight disconnect, so he's not going to take on any points today. Potentially, he's seen his ass.
That's last points for Max, Keith, Diego. Oh wait, Diego's in the pits.
Well, yeah,
that's just plus points for everyone else.
This is more points for those that were behind him. It means that Henry Cobinson moves up to 5th, Max into 6th. So that's fortunate for Max and Henry, as they tried to hunt down Ryan Skywalker now in the point standings at the very least, as he is well and truly running away from it, just gaining second after second on Alexander Gray every single lap. But yeah, shame for Michelle Rodriguez and Diogo Teixeira there.
It's also weird, I said it's not the best to follow Diego into the grass, and then they just teleported into the pits.
Yeah, they teleported
as I finished it.
Yeah, that was fun. That was just very weird. I saw it on the cameras as well. Just unfortunate issue for those drivers there. Just one of them sim racing things.
That's a skill issue by me, but...
Well, if you say so. Well, it does mean that we've still got 9 drivers circulating on the circuit. Diogo Teixeira in the pits. Hopefully he's back for the second race, potentially starting on pole for that. I'm not sure how it'll be calculated. But yeah, like I say, we're still going here. Little Skittle not allowing Dennis Bosman to run away from it. This is a good performance from Little Skittle, who is just learning the circuit from behind Dennis Bosman. That sounds like I'm quite patronising Little Skittle here. He's a fast driver, and Dennis Bosman is also a fast driver, but it's good that the gap isn't getting any larger, and if Dennis Bosman makes a single mistake here, Little Skittle's going to be right there to capitalise on it, and he's surely going to take third place away from him. But Dennis doesn't seem to be making these mistakes. He's sticking to the surface like glue, isn't he?
Oh, he definitely is. The setup is... Some people said it's not good, but... Yeah, it's pretty sticky, and we know what happened to Diego. Got a penalty on the last corner, and he is DSQ'd from the race.
Yeah, straight
And
away.
yeah,
Oh,
same
little
happened
Skittle
to Michelle.
just bounced into the wall. That was a
What?
really weird one. He kind of came over the chicane and then just drifted slowly into the wall. But he didn't take any significant damage, and he's still circulating, coming through the Villeneuve chicane up to Tillman Corner. But you could notice in his wing mirrors then, Henry Comsey slowly appearing. The Finnish driver here coming onto the Sacrament Shelling. No, sorry, this is not got a corner name. We're coming into Boulderberg Corner.
No skill. You shouldn't type and drive. God damn it.
Goodness me. What is he trying to do?
He just
type.
typed cool in the chat. Back to you, crap.
Wow. Well,
And
Little Skittle trying to type and drive, and that's not going to help him. Oh, and he's stopped on the corner. Henry Comsey's well up behind him. Little Skittle pulling over to the side of the circuit.
What is that for?
Not sure what he's doing, whether he's testing the track limits. Has he got a hardware issue? Is there an issue with his engine?
Or is he serving our penalties on?
Penalties shouldn't be on.
Because...
Oh well, we'll see how that one goes. Anyway, besides our own confusion, Keith Holt has managed to move himself past Alex Heller on the back straight here, coming towards the Jackie Eakes corner, and that's a nice clean move from Keith Holt, just as we come to expect from him, up into 7th position, taking home more valuable points in his fight to take over that fantastic mid-pack battle. Hopefully that carries on into the final race. And Henry Comsey and Max Snoot 7 both inherited a position thanks to Little Skittle slowing down.
Can I just say, Ryan in his own league.
Absolutely. 15 seconds clear of Alexander Gray. This man has not set a foot wrong all evening. He's just been putting in fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. He knows how to lead a race from the front, and he's not going to lose his head, but he is coming up to back markers now. He's got Arthur Julio to clear, as Arthur Julio coming onto the back start-finish straight now. We'll see if that causes any problems for him. As we all know, back markers breed chaos. I'm just checking to see the deal with penalties here.
It says low skill got track limits, that's why he stopped in the Jackie Eakes corner.
Ah, very interesting, very interesting.
So, makes me think that the penalties are on.
The only type of penalties that are on the server is warning the driver, as far as I'm aware. Just check the server thing. I have no idea what's going on. However,
people don't know how to take the chicanes.
This sounds like...
Okay, next.
yeah. People just... if people took the chicanes properly and didn't go off the circuit, they'd be alright. But this seems like yet another one of them fantastic Assetto Corsa moments.
If it's 3 wheels or 4 wheels that you should have, like, it's okay to have 1 wheel on track and 3 wheels on the curb, or
currently
if 4 wheels
the
out.
server's set to allowing 3 wheels, and then it warns the driver, but that's it. Not sure.
Then, that's weird.
Not sure. Anyway, back to the circuit, back to the track. There's a fantastic battle going on for 7th position. Keith Holt got past Alex Heller last lap, but he has slowed down a little bit, and this has allowed Alex Heller to get right up behind him, and he's going to challenge him for 7th position going into the first corner. He's ducked up underneath Keith's exhaust, getting all the slipstream possibly can as they're coming through the first corner here of Erster. Got to power through the corner, feed the power in slowly so you don't get any oversteer like Michelle Rodriguez, and then braking for the steering box corner. It's a bit of a trail braking zone here as Alex Heller masterfully stays behind Keith Holt there, but drops a little bit of time to him, and this battle is chopping and changing every single lap. I can't tell whether the overtake's going to happen. Ryan Skywalker, meanwhile, is going to come and start his final lap of the race. I think Arthur Julio took a little bit of an excursion there in the final corner, but nonetheless, Ryan Skywalker does start the final lap and put all the rest of the drivers onto their final laps, indeed. Sorry, no, they'll start their final laps when they come around next time. Anyway, but he is, absolutely in a league of his own, leading this race now by 18 seconds ahead of Alexander Gray. No one can challenge him today. He has got the bit between his teeth. And I'm going to jump back to that battle between Keith Holt and Alex Heller, but it has spread out a little bit now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It's a shame, but Alex Heller doing well here with his new equipment. He's just bought himself, I think, a new steering wheel and some load cell pedals. So it's really going to show Alex Heller. It's really going to show that a decent amount of equipment can really make a difference, because Alex is a man that wouldn't have been up there to race Keith before, but with a nice bit of equipment and some track tight and coaching, he's working his way through the pack, and he's improving race on race, which is nice to see for the Le Bandit. Le Bandit. Anyway,
Even Alex is now typing when driving.
these
Do
drivers,
not do that.
these drivers
It's
texting and driving, what are they like? Alexander Gray actually needs to stop texting and driving because Dennis Bosman isn't far
Alex.
behind him. If Alex wants to keep Dennis Bosman behind in the championship, he's got to keep him behind him on track. And we're coming up to the final lap. Dennis Bosman is closing the gap to Alexander Gray. Every corner as they're coming down onto the final few corners of the circuit, there's not many opportunities left for Dennis Bosman to make a lunge yet. Through Boulderberg corner, Alexander Gray powers out the corner, trying to keep himself ahead of Dennis Bosman. Ryan Skywalker crosses the line to finish in first position for this race. He's 20 seconds up the road of these two, battling out for second position in an absolute league of his own in this first race. It would be great to talk to him after the two races. Alexander Gray locks up his brakes into the final corners, but he's able to keep himself ahead of Dennis Bosman for yet another corner, and he's going to finish this race in second position, with Dennis Bosman finishing just behind him in third. Henry Comsey, not too far up the road. He was on a great recovery drive there after his first lap incident of his own doing, to be fair.
well,
but
it's the Iceman.
It is the Iceman, and he's recovered to fourth position with his fellow Finnish flying Finn, Max Newt 7, finishing in fifth position after he got wiped out in that first chicane. Little Skittle was doing really good at the start of this race, but got passed by the two Finns to finish in sixth position. And the last two drivers on track, it's Keith Holt in seventh position, and he's going to link up these final two corners to finish there. And Alex Heller was battling him just a few laps ago, but that battle seems to have died just as quickly as it started. And he's going to finish in eighth. What are you going to say? Sorry, Spitzler.
Diego is somehow 11th after, and Michel is somehow 10th with a DNF. And he.
Interesting.
That's AC for you, everyone.
Interesting maths from Assetto Corsa there. Nonetheless, we move on. 2 minutes till the race starts. I'm going to go get a bit of refreshment, and you can entertain the viewers, Spitzler.
With what? So we know nothing about the track limits here. We can cut the first chicane, we go on the grass at the last corner, and you get a DSQ. That's what happened to Michelle Rodriguez and Diego. And in hell, Henry, stop.
There we go. Back in the commentary box with a fresh glass of water.
Oh god. Arthur, oh god, inverted grid.
Arthur Julio, on his first race, he wasn't prepared to be starting on pole position for this race. How do you reckon he's going to handle this one? He's going to look in his mirrors and see Keith Holt, and then behind Keith Holt, Max Newt 7, who had an absolutely blistering start in that first race. So hopefully he can continue that role of that form into this race. Alex Heller, excuse me, he's going to start alongside Arthur Julio in second position, and then it's going to be Keith Holt on the second row. He's in that fantastic blue Patronus livery. Little Skittle is going to start alongside Keith Holt on the second row in that BP livery, and then it's Maxute 7 in the Gulf livery on the third row. Can he get that fantastic start like he did in the first race? Henry Comsey, the Iceman, and it's a double finish third row. Starts alongside Maxute 7, of course. Dennis Bosman behind them with Alexander Gray behind him once again. Then it's Ryan Skywalker and Diogo Teixeira rounding out the grid. Of course, he is going to start last as he finished that last race in the pits. In the pits emotionally and physically. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to put my camera target on Max Newt 7 because I think he's going to be the charger. But, well, with just under 30 seconds to go. Quick one, Spit Slam. Who's going to be in the lead by the first corner? Quickly.
Alex
Heller. Okay, I rate it. Good choice from the outside. We'll see how that one goes. 6 red lights go on for the drivers once again under the windmills. 6 red lights go out. The engine notes rise and drop as the drivers shift through the gears. Maxute 7 once again has had a fantastic start, but who has had an even better start? That's Little Skittle. Arthur Julio leads into the first corner. Keith Holt getting up the inside. Alex Heller going very wide, oversteering into the gravel. Alex Heller's going to rejoin. Is he going to bash into anyone? No, everyone manages to avoid him. Little Skittle, after that fantastic start, panics seeing Alex Heller go off, and he's going to surrender his position to Maxute 7, but he's going to hold that inside line. and not hold on to the position. Max 67 does successfully move through. Keith Holt up the inside of Arthur Giulio. He's going to make himself into first position before we've even reached Lucy and Bianchi corner. And Arthur Giulio is dropping through the positions as Max 67 also moves through on him as he gets bullied out onto the gravel. All the time you have to leave a space. Apparently not for Max 67, who's now going up the inside of Keith Holt into towards the first chicane. He's going to look to make the move and under braking Max 67 into the lead of this race. That's all he wants to do. Can he hold on to that lead for much longer? We'll see. His rival Ryan Skywalker from second last is already up to third position. This is fantastic racing from Ryan Skywalker, but Henry Comsey is right behind Ryan Skywalker and he's looking to the inside of the Villeneuve chicane. He's unable to make that move stick, and Ryan Skywalker feeds through into fourth position with Henry Comsey very close behind in fourth. Sorry, Ryan Skywalker in third. Dennis Bosman and Alexander Gray also duking it out for fifth and sixth. They've had a mixed bag of starts. They started alongside each other for the race, I believe. Yes, they did. And, well, they both converted that into staying alongside each other. Little Skittle dropped through the order like a stack of bricks there, as did Arthur Giulio, but that's his first race, so we can give him a benefit of the doubt here. Tight battle here for second position between Keith Holt and Ryan Skywalker. Ryan Skywalker looking up the inside, but Keith Holt breaking deep, holding off Ryan Skywalker for yet another couple corners. We'll see if he can hold him off. Oh, apparently not. Onto the start-finish straight. Ryan Skywalker already with the overtake on Keith Holt, and that is a fantastic picture-perfect move from Ryan Skywalker. But Keith Holt is holding his inside line. He's going to try and break a little bit deeper than Ryan Skywalker and hold off this position. But Ryan Skywalker has got a little bit more cojones than Keith Holt there. Moves up into second position. Keith Holt down into third, and holding up Henry Comsey a little bit there as they come through in towards the steering walk corner. Henry Comsey up the inside of Keith Holt to take that podium. Oh, but he gets a slap oversteer on. He's into the Armco, and he's going to rejoin the circuit behind Alex Heller in ninth position. Henry Comsey once again ruining his race of his own accord. Another close battle between Alexander Gray and Dennis Bosman. They're getting tight as they're coming through the Lucy and Bianchi corner towards the Klein chicane. Alex Gray is going to look for a way past. He's ducked right up underneath the exhaust. Dennis Bosman defending hard. Alexander Gray defending so hard. Oh, and he pushes Alexander Gray onto the... Well, sorry. Alexander Gray gets onto the grass, gets on the brakes, back end steps out, bumps into Dennis Bosman, gets through on him, and now Little Skittles arrived on the scene. It's a three-way battle as they're going through the butt curve here towards the Villeneuve chicane. Little Skittle on the inside, Alex Gray on the middle, Dennis Bosman on the outside. Dennis Bosman going to try and hold on to that all the way around the outside. Diogo Teixeira's arrived on the scene. Where did he come from? He didn't manage to gain any positions after that crazy lunge from Diogo Teixeira. Alexander Gray holds on to that fourth position, but Little Skittle moves through into fifth after Dennis Bosman tried to hang it around the outside, got bumped by Diogo Teixeira and dropped down a position behind Little Skittle. And now Alex Heller has arrived to try and challenge Diogo Teixeira, who... Alex Heller, yes, sorry, jumps up the inside of Diogo Teixeira there, and Henry Comsey's on the scene, and this is non-stop action from these drivers as they're coming through the the Jochen Rins corner. Diogo Teixeira on the inside for the Jackie X chicane here. Henry Comsey in the middle, trying to break deeper than the two drivers around him. He's going to move through on the pair of them. A fantastic double overtake from Henry Comsey there, and Diogo Teixeira forced wide on that final corner once again, and he's going to have absolute PTSD flashbacks to what happened to him just last race. Goodness me, I've not stopped talking. I'm so sorry, Splitslam. What else has happened that I've completely missed there? Because that's been chaotic.
Not much, just Ryan with the beautiful pass past two people, and I don't know who it was with one of these people getting bullied onto the gravel in the first chicane.
Yeah, it was Alexander Heller went a little bit off on the first chicane in the first lap and then rejoined in front of someone, but managed to do it safely.
That might be it.
Somehow. Oh well.
Now we have one, two, three, four, five-way battle.
Yeah, it's a fantastic five-way battle for fifth position here, isn't it? Little Skittle behind Alexander Gray, Dennis Bosman behind him. Dennis Bosman bouncing over that chicane curves there. That is not the way to do it, Dennis Bosman. You're going to lose a bunch of time doing that, and he does indeed. And now Henry Comsey is very close behind him here in the fantastically beautiful green racing
Diego comes
livery.
Last of the late breakers. That was a cut through the one F chicane. Nobody cares.
You know what? I didn't even clock that because that was so last minute.
It was per last minute, but last of the late breakers, really great entry into the chicane. Really done. Alex trying on the outside, bumping into Diego. Happens.
Decent work there, decent work there. Now Henry Comsey has arrived on the scene of this Dennis Bosman Little Skittle battle. Little Skittle is defending hard into the final chicane here. Dennis Bosman just looking to stick to his lines, potentially get a switch back out of the final corner. Indeed he does. Look at the overspeed that he's got on Little Skittle down the start-finish straight, but he has to look in his mirrors because Henry Comsey is well and truly here. The Iceman looks to move on him. They almost go 3 wide down the start-finish straight here. Little Skittle moves over to take the race in line, but he's potentially going to get a bit of oversteer from that move. Indeed he does get a lot of understeer. Oh, and Henry Comsey up the inside of the pair of them. Picture perfect move from Henry Comsey there. Dennis Bosman moves through a Little Skittle just by sticking to his line. Little Skittle with a bit of understeer from that late manoeuvre to defend, and he drops down into 7th position. Alex Heller back past Diogo Teixeira once again. There we go. So that battle is about concluded. And I'm dying off microphone here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely dying.
You shall not die.
I shall not die. Diogo Teixeira. Whoa! Fantastic move from Diogo Teixeira there.
Great.
Sorry.
Great overtake. It's fine. Then Diego, Len, Alex. Maybe there was some kind of bump or something. We don't. Oh, he just surveyed his penalty.
Ah, indeed he is. Slowdown penalties somehow managed to make their way onto the server, despite not being enabled. Assetto Corsa being Assetto Corsa once again. Nonetheless, we still go ahead.
Waiting for AC2.
Yeah, indeed. Typical AC things. Diogo Teixeira continues in 9th position, just slightly ahead of who's that? It's Mr. Julio behind him in 10th position. So we're going to take a look up at the front of the pack. We're almost at the halfway point of this race, and Ryan Skywalker is now a second behind Max Newt 7, and well, whilst that's a good place for him to be, given his first race pace, I almost expected him to have moved past him by now, which leads me to believe that Max Newt 7 might have had a bit of damage in that first race.
Oh, he definitely did with the Henry lunge.
Yeah, that Henry lunge was a lot more taxing on poor Max's car than I initially thought, because Ryan Skywalker is absolutely flying past Max Newt 7 right. Sorry.
Oh,
excuse me, Ryan Skywalker. I would have expected to be absolutely flying past Max Newt 7, but
and
Max
right
is putting up much
coming
better fight.
Into the first chicane.
They are indeed. The battle is now.
Outbreak him.
The battle is starting to unfold. Max Newt 7 looking in his rearview mirrors and getting a whole eyeful of South African man meat as Ryan Skywalker looks to find a way past him. Max Newt 7 putting up a decent defence into the Villeneuve chicane. They're going to power out of the chicane and then get ready for the next power straight, the long power curve. Oh, Max Newt 7 gets all over the grass on the exit curve there. That's going to lose him a couple miles an hour surely as they get the foot flat to the floor once again as they come before the deep, heavy braking point of the Boulderberg corner. Max Newt 7 defends to the inside. Ryan Skywalker tries to hang a move around the outside. He's going to keep himself on his rear quarter, but he can't accelerate. There's no space. They're coming through the Jochen Rindt corner. Ryan Skywalker has the run on Max Newt 7. He's got the inside line for the Jackie X chicane here as they break deep into Jackie X chicane. Both on the brakes at the same time. Ryan Skywalker holding that inside line, but Max Newt 7 sweeps around the outside, holds onto that first place position for a little while longer. But Ryan Skywalker, looking to have the switchback. Max Newt 7 defends hard out of the final corner. Down the start-finish straight they go once again. Max Newt 7 and Ryan Skywalker side by side. Ryan Skywalker once again with the inside line, braking very, very late, and that's the move done for Ryan Skywalker there. Just finding an extra few yards on Max Newt 7 for that braking zone, and he is cleanly through on the finish driver before Sterling Walk's corner. Max Newt 7 now is going to try and launch his counter-attack. Can he get back past him, Switzerland?
Maybe he can, maybe he not. The best overtaking chance is right now coming into the first chicane, going full speed through Lucian Bianchi corner. Now throttle to the metal, going into the first chicane, under the banner, braking for the chicane into the second gear. The third gear on this car is basically useless. And actually Ryan is making up time, and he's not.
He actually just lost. There's the traditional Adam Chapman yawn. There you go, Ryan. Yeah, I'm yawning at your battle as well, Ryan. Anyway, sorry. He lost a bit of time through the chicane there. Max Newt 7 being a lot more aggressive with the curbs. This might potentially give him a track limits penalty after the race, which is a dangerous place for Max Newt to be in. But nonetheless, he's keeping Ryan Skywalker honest. and not allowing him to run away with it quite yet. The gap still 0.4 of a second. Behind him, Henry Comsey is battling away with Keith Holt. He's looking to make a move. I think the move is going to be complete before they reach the Boulderberg corner. Just got that overtake there. Henry Comsey breaking deep down the inside of Keith Holt, and now he's going to be on the back end of Alexander Gray, looking to make the move, similar kind of move on him in a few laps' time potentially. As there is 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, plenty of time for Henry Comsey to regain that lost time out of his first. Well, it was his second corner incident, wasn't it?
Oh, Ryan, excellent exit out of the last corner, last chicane. Also, look at those two. If you have a mini map, I don't know if you do, Adam, but the gap between those two and the back of cars behind them, it's enormous. It's 8 seconds.
Yeah, let me see if I can get a mini map up on screen for all the viewers. Oh, it's just a small track map, never mind. On the live timing, you can see it, yeah. There is a whole 2 corners between these 2 drivers who are still battling out. And bear in mind, if they're battling, they're losing time. But the fact is that he can still afford to battle.
They're gaining.
Exactly, they're just gaining time, even while battling. That's the kind of different league that these 2 drivers are in today. These 2 all season, in fact, have been in a different league, haven't they? And Max67 now trying to show a bit of quality as he tries to look to make a move back on Ryan Skywalker and get his revenge as they're coming through the butt curve here towards the Villeneuve chicane, but it doesn't happen this time around. Max67, he's definitely got the line through the chicanes, but Ryan Skywalker just absolutely parking it on the apex, and Max67 has to lift off and just allow Ryan to slot ahead of him, because either you go into the back of Ryan Skywalker and you both go out, or you just slot behind him and make the move on the next corner. But it's not going to happen here into the Boulderberg corner once again. They come breaking deep, and I just feel like Ryan Skywalker in these heavy braking zones is able to brake a little bit deeper, but as they come through the chicanes, Max67 just knows where to put his car, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely chicanes are one of the big plays on the Zolder. If you know how to do chicanes, you can basically be perfect at Zolder.
Well, exactly. It's a very chicane.
It's only 3 chicanes, but it's 4 kilometers. It's basically a chicane for a kilometer of track.
Exactly that. And the drivers appear at the chicanes very, very quickly. 2 minutes 40 remaining. There's about 3 laps left for these drivers. 3 laps left for Max67 to mount this camera. Bloody hell! Mount this counter-attack on Ryan Skywalker. Can he do it? We'll see in the next final few laps. Henry Comsey is closing on Alexander Gray behind, but the battle's still not quite as close as this battle
also
ahead of the pack.
The battle of the Dutchies, Dennis Bosman and Lil Skillo. Battling out.
Indeed it is, actually. Battling it out here in their, well, it's not a home circuit. It's a circuit down the road for them. As through the canal corner here, they come into Lucien Bianchi corner. And yeah, Dennis Bosman just holding off Little Skittle for now. I daren't tip my eyes off the lead battle, but Little Skittle looking to potentially make a move in towards the Kleiner chicane here. They come, Little Skittle looking to the outside, trying to break deep, trying to break it a little bit deeper than Dennis Bosman. Dennis Bosman holding that inside line, parking his car on the apex and not allowing Little Skittle through. Little Skittle all over the curbs, loses a lot of time by bumping over those sausage curbs, and he has to slot behind Dennis Bosman once more as they come through Sacrament Shelling up towards the Villeneuve chicane here, breaking deep. Dennis Bosman holding on to that 6th place position for yet another corner. Battle at the front still underneath 0.4 of a second as the drivers now come onto what will be their penultimate lap through the final corner here, the Jackie chicane. Ryan Skywalker just sticking to his lines, not defending. Interestingly, he's not defending from Max.
Well, because if you are on your line, you are basically defending the whole track. This track, it's, I know, even like cars twice as bigger are racing on this, the Euro Track Championship. Henry comes here ahead of Alexander Gray. I'm talking very great. What Alex is serving his penalty, doesn't want to get rid of, get DNF'd. Keith moving into 4th ahead of Alexander Gray. But when I'm continuing, if you drive your racing line like with any car here, basically, you are defending.
Yeah, it's a very slim track.
It takes a very skilled driver to just overtake you and dive bomb you into one of the many corners on this track.
Yeah, this track kind of promotes some decent racing, but I think today it's not. It's shown us some nice clean racing, but it's not shown us quite the chaos that we kind of get at a lot of other circuits. As once again, Max7 gains so much time through that Kleiner chicane. He's got the line nailed down. Ryan Skywalker potentially not quite as much through the Villeneuve chicane. They come, Max 7 still up on the exhaust of Ryan Skywalker, but the power that Ryan has out of them corners there just allows him to gap Max 7 out of every single time, doesn't it?
It looks like Ryan has better acceleration out of the corners than Max.
He certainly does, potentially just
But
a little
it's
bit
the
better with
same
his throttles.
setup.
It is the same setup. It could potentially just be that Ryan is potentially
Throttle control.
yeah, he's got a bit more throttle
Yeah.
control. He's a little bit more confident to apply the throttle quicker, and Max 7 maybe a little bit wary of oversteer, which is something that we saw Michelle Rodriguez succumb to, which means that it's clearly an easy problem to have, as Michelle had it, and we know how good of a driver Michelle is. Anyway, the time has ticked down to 0, which means it's going to be the final lap for the final lap for Ryan Skywalker and Max 7 now. There's a fantastic four-way battle for fourth position. Once again, the battle that started at the start of this race returns here between Keith Holt, Alexander Gray, Dennis Bosman, and Little Skittle. It's a very European battle, this one here, between the two Dutch drivers, the Swedish and the Austrian.
Basically, you have only our grade is basically European if you don't count the first and the last place.
That's very true, actually. I mean, like Central Europe, Western European.
We are racing in Western Europe. What do you think?
They don't have to physically travel to the track.
No, I yeah, that's true. I will give you that.
I get what you mean, Spitzlam, don't worry. Anyway,
Yeah, I know.
on the final lap we are. Ryan Skywalker still ahead of Max 7, but look at the speed that Max carries through the chicanes and look at the speed that he loses out of the corners. However, potentially, this might have been a good one for Max 7 as he was a little bit further behind Ryan Skywalker. He didn't have to lift off out of the chicane. He's been able to carry a little bit more speed, and now he's been able to stick close behind Ryan Skywalker. Oh, and Ryan Skywalker breaks deep, outbrakes himself, but fortunately for him, Max 7 does exactly the same thing. Coming through the Jockenrin corner now and down towards the Jackie chicane here, the final few corners on the circuit. Can Ryan Skywalker hold on for another 2 corners here? He brakes well, he doesn't lock up his brakes, he gets back on the power for the start-finish straight, and he holds on for, once again, another race win here for Ryan Skywalker here at Zolder. And is that another fastest lap?
It is indeed. Yeah, it is.
2 race wins, 2 fastest laps. I said at the start of this race, that's all Ryan Skywalker needed to do, and that's exactly what he has done. He's doing everything he possibly can to take this championship away from Max 7. And well done to Ryan Skywalker. Henry comes to finish in 3rd position, and then it's the battle between Keith Holt, Alexander Gray, Dennis Bosman, and Little Skittle, all getting resolved, and they all cross the line exactly as they were just 2 laps ago. Alex Heller, Diogo Teixeira, and Arthur Julio going to round out the top 10 drivers. What a race that was. Were you going to say something there, Spitzlam?
That's a really great race we got there. The show of speed and basically how to take your corners right. This is one of the very many of technical tracks.
Exactly.
But I think this was one of the most technical tracks we ever raced at. We are not counting Monaco because that was go-karts.
That was just a bit of chaos as well, more than technical. Diogo Teixeira there slowing down to serve a penalty. He powers back on down the start finish straight, finishing in 9th position, and then it's Arthur Julio on his debut here, finishing in 10th position. He's going to take him a few points by the fact that there was only 10 drivers on the grid. Well, shall we chat to Ryan, our double race winner tonight?
Yep.
Let's drag him in here. Ryan Skywalker, 2-time race winner this evening. I said at the start of the night, mate, all you needed to do was win the both races and get fastest laps. And then I joked that that was easier said than done. However, you've just shown absolute class today. Have you been practicing this race?
I just tried to keep out of trouble, man.
Wow, honestly, you did absolutely fantastically. You were in an absolute league of your own in the first race. You were 18 seconds clear of everyone else. And then that second race, you moved through Max 7 with absolute ease. He kept you honest. Did you think he was going to get you?
I did, actually, and I wouldn't say it was with ease, to be honest. He gave me a little bit of a fight, so it was a nice battle.
It was a great battle between the pair of you. It looked like Max potentially had a little bit more speed in the chicanes, but you had a lot more drive out of the corners.
Yeah, and he also, it's the first time I ever see him make a mistake out of that, I think it was the second corner. He went wide onto the grass or the gravel trap, and then that gave me the run on him into the chicane.
Yeah, he did indeed.
'Cause
And
that,
actually, you almost made a mistake on that final lap.
yo,
You were
yes,
coming into the final the top of the circuit there, Boulderberg, and you
yeah,
broke very deep, looked at your brakes, and I thought for sure that was your race win over. But Max did the exact same thing behind you.
yeah, sympathy spin.
You were
Oh, that
fortunate.
was
You were
nice.
very fortunate, let me tell you. But it is not often that Max makes them kind of mistakes.
Uh-huh.
But, well, I mean, even with the mistakes, you finished in first position for both races, and that brings the lead of the championship down very nicely for you. I think Max finished in 6th in the first race, so it's going to be all to play for next week, mate. Do you think you're
Oh,
going to
don't
have
you
it?
just hate it when that happens in the last race every time?
It has been.
Ryan,
Every single championship has come down to the last race. This is crazy.
right.
I just make it so hard for myself.
And it's always Ryan. First
It
year
is. It's
Ryan
been
Eric.
Ryan every
Last
single
year
season.
Ryan Max, and this year it's Ryan and Max as well.
Well, hopefully it gives some good spectacle on the stream.
You're an absolute stalwart, mate.
And you're also lucky that the stewards now exist, so Max cannot pull a sneaky one on there.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, well done, Ryan, mate. Great 2 wins
Thanks, mate.
today. Showed a lot of class. Next week, it's Imola in the 2008 F1 cars. You reckon you've got an upper hand in this one, or are you gonna have a lot of practice?
They must bring it.
Bring it, bring it. Fighting talk from Ryan Skywalker. Fair enough, mate. Well done, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Cool, buddy.
There we go, Ryan Skywalker, double race winner today, and well, what a fantastic showing that was for him. I'll tell you what, we'll. Do you want to go see if Max Suit 7's available? I want to talk championship with him.
Okay.
Go see if he's ready to talk about the championship. Of course, Max coming to this event leading the championship. He's going to be fighting it out with Ryan Skywalker in the final race of the season, the final 2 races of the season. We'll see what his feelings are. If he's feeling the pressure, Max doesn't usually feel the pressure, do you, mate? But I thought I'd get you in here to talk about the championship, because this one's going to come down to the final event again. Next week, we're racing the VRC Formula Alpha McLaren 2008 cars at Imola. Do you think you'll do well there, Max?
I don't know, but as always, I try my best.
Obviously, and you usually get in plenty of practice. Is Imola a circuit that you usually like?
Yeah, it is good track, but I don't do very good there.
Oh, well, we'll see. Hopefully you can get plenty of practice in and do well and give us an exciting fight next week. It's going to be tight between you and Ryan Skywalker. Today it was tight as well. In that second race, it was an awesome battle between you two. I was saying in the stream, and I said to Ryan, it seemed like you had more speed in the chicane, but Ryan just had better acceleration. Do you think you know why?
I don't really know, but I was noticing the same thing. I always in the corner exit, I lose time to Ryan.
Well, it seemed like that way. You were just about hanging on, and well, it was a great race. It was a great spectacle. In that first race, you dropped off the back. Did you have damage after that incident with Henry?
Yeah, just maybe front bumper, but not else.
That's a real shame for you there. It was definitely an undeserved move, and you come off a cropper. But well done racing today. Great racing, and thank you for racing with us again. We'll see you next week. Unless Spitslam, have you got any last questions for Max?
No, I don't. Good luck, and we'll have fun next week.
Yeah,
We surely will. Right, thank you for joining us again, Max. We'll see you next week, mate.
thanks. See ya.
Max Newt 7 there, chatting to us after his race win. Sorry, not race win, race second place and 6th place. I'm getting so confused. I always get confused by the end of these events.
Happens.
Oh, dear me. Anyway, I'll get more confused next week when the maths come into play. Speaking of course, 7 o'clock BST, Tuesday, 27th of September. Be there or be square. It's time for the finale of the Track Titan Community Race Series Season 3. I'll be there. Will you be there, Spitzlam?
Definitely.
Of course you will. I think our dearest friend Tom Jones might make an appearance as well. We'll see how that pans out in the season finale. But until next week, we'll see you later.